Okay. So we talked about Euler's equation yesterday. Euler's equation of rotational motion. So I will again review some of the topics covered. So we have a fixed coordinate system. So we have a vector A. So we are measuring this vector from 1 to 3 coordinate system. Now this coordinate system 1 to 3 is having an angular velocity omega. Omega is angular velocity of coordinate system 1 to 3. Now vector A is measured in this rotating coordinate system as seen by fixed coordinate system x, y, z. Now what is this vector A? Is equal to A1 E1 plus A2 E2 plus A3 E3. E1, E2, E3 are the unit vectors for this coordinate system. So A1, A2, A3 are the components of vector A as measured from this rotating coordinate system. Now what is vector A? This is my vector A. Now I want this time derivative with respect to capital XYZ system. So this you can write it as by product rule of differentiation dA1 by dt E1 plus A1 dE1 by dt plus more terms will be there. Now what is dA1 by dt? Now A1 is a component of the vector A in E1, 2, 3 system. Now A1 is a scalar. This scalar you are measuring with 1, 2, 3 system. So you can say this is only dA1 by dt 1, 2, 3 system plus A1. What is time derivative of vector E1? Now vector E1 is rotating with angular velocity omega. So this will be nothing but omega cross E1 plus other terms. So you see, you will have vector dA by dt with respect to 1, 2, 3 system plus this omega is common everywhere. You can take it out. Is it all right? This is what we did earlier. That vector A will have some variation with respect to 1, 2, 3 system plus a variation because of rotation of this E1, 2, 3 system with respect to x, y, z. So I have done the same thing in a longer way. That vector A can be represented as components and the unit vectors. Then you want time derivative with this fixed system. Then you do product rule of differentiation. Now A1 is a scalar and you are measuring it in this small 1, 2, 3 system. So scalar is same whatever be the coordinate system. So its time derivative is same whether it is capital XYZ or small or 1, 2, 3 system. So you can write like this. You are measuring A1 in 1, 2, 3 system. So finally you will see that this term is there dA2 by dt, E2, dA3 by dt, E3. So all of that can be clubbed as dA by dt 1, 2, 3. Same thing here, omega cross it. Any doubts, anybody?
Sir, simply E1, E2, and E3 is the directions from we are assuming like I cap, J cap, K cap, like
Yeah,
direction
yeah,
is
it is
sure.
the same thing. I have named unit vectors differently. Instead of IJK, I am calling it E1, E2, E3.
Okay, sir.
Okay, fine.
That's fine.
Okay. So now I want second derivative of vector. First derivative is here. I have to take its derivative. Is it all right? If I want to find its derivative with capital XYZ system, one thing is its derivative with respect to 1, 2, 3 system plus omega cross this entire vector plus now we want to see we will apply product rule of differentiation to this omega dot cross A plus omega cross dA by dt capital XYZ. So what is this term? Omega cross. What is dA by dt XYZ? dA by dt 1, 2, 3 plus omega cross A. So what do I get? D square A by dt square 1, 2, 3 plus. You see omega cross dA by dt 1, 2, 3 is happening twice. So you call it 2 Is it all right? You see, this is like time derivative of vector A relative to the rotating frame plus 2 omega cross. This is the time derivative of the vector A with respect to 1, 2, 3. So this is like Coriolis term. And this is the tangential term. And this is your centripetal. For example, take A as R. What do you mean by R? Position vector. So you have a particle here, you have its position vector. So what is velocity of this point, this particle? Related to 1, 2, 3 frame. One is relative velocity related to this frame. Suppose this point origin is fixed. The body is rotating about an axis passing through this origin with an angular velocity omega. So this is an embedded system rotating with the body. So what is your vector? If you take vector R, the vector R is nothing but small r plus rho prime. Now you take its time derivative. So you are taking time derivative with this XYZ system. So we have found that this is velocity of the point with respect to the XYZ system. dr by dt is nothing but velocity of the particle with respect to this fixed system, and this you can call as absolute velocity because you have assumed this as a fixed coordinate system. This will be equal to, now this is a position vector R with respect to, you want derivative with respect to capital XYZ. So I had shown you that this derivative, this is velocity with respect to 1, 2, 3 system plus omega cross R, and this R is taken with respect to XYZ system. This we just did. Instead of R, if we write vector A, same thing will happen. This is dA by dt. So this is dA by dt with respect to 1, 2, 3 system. Your R is position vector with respect to 1, 2, 3 system. So you get velocity with respect to 1, 2, 3 system, or relative velocity of the particle in 1, 2, 3 system. Basically, velocity of the particle in 1, 2, 3 system. Plus this. Plus this becomes velocity of the origin. Origin of the moving frame. Now you take its second time derivative, you will get acceleration with respect to XYZ system, or you can call it absolute acceleration. So this will be equal to, as we did earlier, same thing will happen. You will get acceleration with respect to 1, 2, 3 system plus instead of A, you are having now this R. So everything will be same. You have to just replace R by A by R. So there is another term C omega cross velocity with respect to XYZ system. Sorry. 1, 2, 3 system. So we are just using that result. Omega cross A. Instead of A, we are having small r. Here, instead of capital A, we are having small r. 2 omega cross dr by dt with respect to 1 to 3. So that becomes the relative velocity with respect to 1 to 3. Any doubts? Lavish, it is all right?
Yes, sir. Fine.
Okay. So you all aware of this is centripetal acceleration? This is tangential acceleration. This you may not have seen till now. This is called Coriolis acceleration. So we'll do some simple problems. You take a bar. So this bar is spinning about this hinge O. This is my coordinate system x, y, z. Currently this angle is theta. There is a point on the bar A. Angular velocity is omega. Angular acceleration is alpha. So this is a bar. Okay. So this is spinning about the z-axis. So the angular velocity omega, angular acceleration alpha. Now I want to find velocity of the point A. What will be this velocity, Lavish?
But sir,
What is the velocity of point A? It's a rigid body. This bar is a rigid body and it's spinning about point O. So the velocity will be nothing but omega
sir,
cross
omega
OA.
L.
That is the angular velocity.
Yes, sir.
So that is the velocity of point A. Now what is the acceleration of point A? So it has got two terms. One is alpha cross A cross OA plus normal acceleration omega cross. Do you all agree with this?
Yes, sir. Fine.
So we have got acceleration of point A. Position vector of point A is basically OA is equal to, suppose this bar has length L cos theta I plus sin theta j. If you try to find its time derivative, what do you get? You call this as vector R. This is a vector R. So dr by dt becomes, this is a rigid bar, L will not change, L is fixed with time. L cos theta becomes minus sin theta. Then we have to do product rule or differentiation. Sorry, not product rule. You have to take a derivative of theta also with time. You want derivative with time. So first with theta, then theta with t. This is your velocity of the particle, velocity of point A. So what do you get? D theta by dt is nothing but omega. So you get L d theta by dt. Assume omega is equal to so you assume the body is spinning, the Bar is spinning in xy plane about the axis z. So d theta by dt k cross you take this cross product, k cross I is j, you get L cos theta, d theta j, k cross j is minus I, so you get L minus L sin theta d theta by t I. So you see, we have got the same results. So this becomes omega cross vector OA. Any problem? So this I have just shown you how you are getting velocity of point A in the long way. So you have got acceleration of point A. Suppose I want to draw the velocity diagram. There is a concept of velocity diagram. So in that you what you do first you show the 0 point. This is known as pole of the drawing. Or zero velocity point. So all absolute velocities are measured from this point. So what is velocity of point A? It has to be perpendicular to this line OA. And since omega is counterclockwise, you will find that this point A is moving in this direction. It has to be perpendicular to this line, as this is making a circular motion. Velocity of point A has to be tangential to the circle. So you can just draw a vector like this. This you call is velocity of point A. And this point you call small a. Any problem with this?
So ये zero velocity वाला भी फिर से explain कर दो.
It is just reference point. You are showing some zero velocity point, and you are showing the velocity of point A with respect to that. Any problem?
Okay, sir.
Now, if I draw acceleration diagram, then what it will be? Point O. Here I represent by primes. So what is the acceleration of point A? One is the acceleration towards the center. So you will show like this. So this you call acceleration of A normal. So this is equal to what? Omega square OA. And this is pointing towards the origin O. Then there is a tangential term that has to be perpendicular to this. You call it acceleration of A tangential. The acceleration of A tangential is alpha OA. And direction is shown like this because my alpha is positive counterclockwise. So tangential acceleration will be in this direction. Any problem? This point I call A.
No, sir. Clear.
So I have drawn velocity and acceleration diagram for this rotating bar. Now we can do one more problem. Suppose we take a system like this. We call it, this is a fixed member, we call it 1, bar 2, bar 3, bar 4. This I call O2, this bar 2 spins about this axis O2. This hinge I call O4 because this bar 4 rotates about this hinge. This point I call A, this point I call B. Now, this you call omega 2, alpha 2. You are assigning some angular velocity and angular acceleration to this bar 2. So they are connected by pin joints or hinge joints. Now, what is the velocity of point A? You have already seen. It will go like this. Now, what is the velocity of point B? It has to be perpendicular to this line because O4 is a fixed axis of rotation. So this bar point B has to go like this. But you don't know which direction. This link 4 can be going clockwise or counterclockwise. If it is going like this, the velocity will be like this. If it is going other way around, it will be other way around. So we don't know which direction it is. So we just draw a line perpendicular to this through point O. Whatever we don't know, we show like a dotted line. Okay. Now, this point is known A, but we don't know where is point B on this dashed line. Now you see, you know point A. What is the relative velocity of point B with respect to point A? You assume your observer is here. What will he see? This fellow is going perpendicular to this. But you don't know whether in this direction or this direction. That you don't know. So you have to draw a horizontal line for relative velocity of B with respect to A. You see, this line is joining this point here. So I can call this as B, and this velocity is known as velocity of B with respect to A. So this was my velocity of point A. And this becomes velocity of point B. Now you see, what we are seeing that B is going, bar 4 is going clockwise. Only then velocity of B will be in this direction. If B is going like this, bar 4 is going like turning clockwise, then your point B will go in this direction. That it is doing. So we always measure absolute velocity from the pole of the drawing, which is point 1. Now you see velocity of B with respect to A. Velocity of B with respect to A. So observer at A is seeing that B is going like this. This is the right one. So how that can happen? If your bar 3 rotates like this. So you see, this is also turning clockwise. This is a clockwise rotation. So omega 3 becomes velocity of B with respect to A divided by length AB, and this is clockwise. What is omega 4? Velocity of B divided by length O4B, and it is clockwise. And what is velocity of point B? You just measure this distance. Magnitude of OB. So this magnitude you measure, you come to know the magnitude of velocity of point B. Direction is perpendicular to this. At this point of time, this is the configuration of this system. With time, this configuration keeps changing. So this velocity diagram is only for this instant of time. Any questions? Lavish.
जो ये VB है, ये हम उस इनर्शियल फ्रेम में बैठ के देख रहे हैं, जब हम B के ऊपर लाइक ऑब्जर्वर को रख के देन हमने VB की डायरेक्शन को एज्यूम किया है.
Okay. Now you see this thing. This is your rigid body. You have got point A and point B. Now you see, rigid body has one angular velocity. If the observer is here, what will he say? Point B is going like this with respect to him.
Yes, sir.
And what will point B say? The body is turning like this, same way. For him also it is turning clockwise. He will say, observer will say point A is going like this. So what is the velocity? This is velocity of B with respect to A. And this is the velocity of A with respect to B. So this fellow says he is going right way. This fellow says he is going like this. So this is a concept of relative motion.
Okay, sir.
So suppose you are going in a car like this, and there is a person stationary here. This fellow will say the person in the car is going in this direction. And what will you see? If you just look at this fellow, don't look anywhere else, it will appear to you that he is going backwards. This is what you must have seen when you are moving in a train from a platform. Only
Yes, sir.
because you start seeing the other fellows, then you realize that only you are moving. But if you are focused on him, you will find that that fellow is going in the other direction. So this is what is relative motion. So observer at A will say he is going like this. So what is absolute velocity of particle B? You can say absolute velocity of A plus velocity of B with respect to A. Suppose you know the absolute velocity of point A. Somebody tells you point A is going horizontally. Now this is the absolute velocity of point A. Some fixed observer. Now, what is velocity of B? Velocity of A. Sorry. This is absolute velocity of A.
So
So
absolute.
velocity of A plus velocity of B with respect to A. So if you bring this vector, so this is the velocity of A. So what you will get? Given by this parallelogram. Diagonal of this parallelogram will be the absolute velocity of point B. So this is the absolute velocity of point B. Now if you look at velocity of point A, what is velocity of point A? Velocity of B plus velocity of
Plus
A with
velocity.
respect to B. So
Okay.
velocity of B, A with respect to B is this. And what is velocity of B? You see diagonal somewhere like this. Now you have to add these two terms. If you draw the parallelogram, it should become like this. Sum of these two terms. Okay, it is not drawn accurately, so that is why it is looking like coming like this. You have to add these two terms. These two. Okay. So if you add these two, maybe it may become like this. So you see how the vectors are added. Now we go to the example of Coriolis axis. Now you take a bar, and on this there is a slider. This slider is moving outward on this bar. This is my point O2. We call this as link member 2, member 3. So slider 3 is moving outward on rotating bar 2. This bar 2 is rotating. This is your point A, and this is point B. So B has 2 points. One is B on the bar 2, you call it B2. then point B on slider 3. You call it B3. So this is on bar 2. This is on slider 3. So they are sharing the same position in the space, but they are on different bodies. Any problem? Now if I want to draw velocity diagram, what is velocity of point B? Let's call it B2. Omega 2 cross O2B. What is velocity of point B3? Velocity of B2 plus velocity of B3 with respect to B2. What is velocity of B3 with respect to B2? It is a rectilinear motion along the bar.
यस सर. सर B2 की होगी सर वही B3 प्लस V B2 by B3 with respect to B.
The velocity of B3 absolute is equal to velocity of B2 plus relative velocity of B3 with respect to B2.
Yes sir.
Now if you want to draw the velocity diagram, first the pole of the drawing, then velocity of point B2 has to be perpendicular to this line. This is velocity of B2. Now what is the relative velocity of B3 with respect to B2 along the bar? So this will be given to you as a data. So this becomes your velocity of B3, absolute velocity of point P on the slider. So this point you call B2, this you call B3. Is it all right?
Yes sir.
Now if you want to draw acceleration diagram, this is velocity diagram. Acceleration diagram. How do we do it? Acceleration of B2 first. That is simple. Omega 2 cross omega 2 cross O2B plus alpha 2 cross O2B. Any problem? This is what we did earlier.
Yes sir, clear.
So I am here. So I draw acceleration. So I have to draw like this. This is my 0 point, pole of the drawing. And this becomes acceleration of B2 normal. Then acceleration of B2 tangential. This point is known as B2 prime. Now what is acceleration of B3? Number one, acceleration of B2 plus acceleration of B3 with respect to B2. B2 we already know, but we need to know this. So you see, one is, you can write B3 with respect to B2 normal. Tangential. Plus there is a Coriolis curve. You see, this slider is moving outwards. So what will be the relative acceleration? Number one, if you plot observer at B2, if there is an observer rotating in the platform, what he will see, this fellow is going outward. He is going outward in a straight line. So what? So it has only a tangential acceleration. If the direction was changing, then there will be a normal acceleration. So this is a relative trajectory seen by observer at B2 of the slider. Trajectory is a straight line because this bar is straight. Suppose it was a slot, then the slider would have been moving in a slot, so it would have a tangential acceleration and a normal acceleration. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
So since it is moving in a straight slot, there is only a tangential acceleration. Normal acceleration is what? Which is causing a change in direction. So here you get this term is 0, and this will be given to you, that this slider is accelerating outward with this acceleration. Plus there is a Coriolis term. Why do you have a Coriolis term? Because observer is rotating. So he will, this term came up, I will explain how it is there. But what is the value of this Coriolis acceleration? So this is given by 2. Now what is the rotating body? Body 2 is a rotating body. Omega 2 cross velocity of B3 with respect to B. Here you need B3 with respect to B2, so same relative velocity. So we are using that expression 2 omega cross relative velocity. So what is the velocity of B3 with respect to B2? So it is going like this. What is omega 2? Counterclockwise. So if you look at omega 2 counterclockwise, it is like this dot. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
So your vector, angular velocity vector of bar 2 is pointing towards you, normal to this plane of the screen. And this velocity is B3 by B2 outward in that direction. So what is the cross product of these two? In which direction it will be? If you take a cross product, it will go in this direction.
Yes, in direction of VB2.
So it will go perpendicular to B3, V2 direction. Perpendicular to OB3 and pointing in the direction I have shown the arrow. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
So this will be acceleration of B3 with respect to B2 Coriolis. This you can calculate. You know the numbers. You know omega 2, you know B3 with respect to this velocity. So this value is known, and direction is known by this cross product. So we are here. Now you see acceleration of B, this point is known. And what is acceleration of B3 with respect to B2? It is moving outward, accelerating, suppose. So this becomes acceleration of B3 with respect to B2 tangential. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Now, what is Coriolis direction? We calculate it like this. So this is my final point B3 prime. So what is absolute acceleration of point slider? You join from O prime to B3 prime. Is it all right? So I have shown you how you calculate Coriolis acceleration, tangential acceleration, normal acceleration. So these are some simple problems. We will not go into complicated stuff. But
Sir,
you should
Coriolis this
Coriolis
acceleration.
acceleration. Yeah,
Coriolis acceleration is occur when our observer is also moving in the direction, also moving. Yeah.
Okay, I'll explain. So we have an observer which is rotating. So observer is rotating, and you are having a motion in a rotating frame. So this bar is rotating, and you are seeing the slider going outward. So one acceleration you can see is how it is moving outward. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, what is happening? This bar is rotating. After some time, this bar is here,
Yes, sir.
and your slider has also moved out. Can you see this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what has happened? This radial velocity was like this. Now it has changed direction. Initially, radial velocity was like this. Now it has become like this because of this rotation of the bar.
Yes.
So you see what is the change in velocity? This
So
is a
due
new,
to because rotation of the rod.
this is a new radial velocity. It is going like this.
Yes, sir.
If there was no outward motion, then this would have been here only, same position. Then there was no radial motion. Same position, same circle. Now there is change. Suppose it is moving outward with the same slider is moving outward with a constant velocity. Okay. Now what happens? If it was not moving outward, it would have been gone to this position. Then what would have been? There was no radial velocity. There was only tangential velocity. Okay. Only thing is tangential velocity would have changed direction. Let's do another problem simultaneously. So this fellow comes here. So it is going like this. So there was only a tangential velocity changing direction. Velocity is like this. Next time, velocity is like this. So what is this change? So your tangential velocity is changing direction. There is no radial velocity when the particle is moving in a circle. So what is this acceleration called?
So centripetal acceleration.
Very good. So this is your centripetal acceleration. Had your tangential velocity been increasing, if the angular velocity was increasing, then this tangential velocity would have been increasing. So that
Yes,
would
sir.
have been
Because सर
called your,
दोनों में सर वेलोसिटी का एक कंपोनेंट होता है because वेलोसिटी दोनों में कॉमन होती है.
so that would have been called tangential acceleration.
Okay, sir.
Now you have a different situation. Earlier there was only tangential velocity. Now you have a radial velocity. Tangential velocity is also there. Now this is a tangential velocity here. This is a tangential velocity. And another thing is there was a radial velocity which has changed direction. So radial velocity changing direction, you see, results in an acceleration of this kind. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Then you see tangential velocity initially was like this. Next time like this. So tangential velocity changing direction, what it will lead to? Centripetal acceleration. Just like situation like this, you are having some tangential velocity changing direction. So it will lead to centripetal acceleration. Now you see here tangential velocity is also increasing because the particle slider is at a larger distance because of this v relative. So what will be the direction of change? That will be increase in the tangential velocity. So you will be having something in the tangential direction. Acceleration in the tangential direction. Here, because of the radial velocity changing direction, you had an acceleration in the tangential direction. Again, you are having acceleration in tangential direction because of increase in tangential velocity. So there are two terms: radial velocity changing direction, and another is tangential velocity increasing. So these two terms contribute to your Coriolis acceleration. So that is why it is called 2 omega cross v relative. So this is the relative velocity as seen by the observer from a rotating frame. He sees the motion of this slider with respect to this bar. That is this v relative. Omega is the angular velocity. You get a bit of it. What is this change in radial velocity? So radial velocity was initially VR, ER. That was our radial velocity.
Yes, sir.
So what is its time derivative? Now we are assuming VR is constant. I told you slider is moving out on a constant speed. So what is VR? d by dt of ER. What is ER? Omega cross ER. I told you that
Yes, sir.
ER is a rotating vector. It is rotating with angular velocity omega. You get this. So basically, you are getting omega cross v relative. VR ER is v relative. So that is one term. What is the other term you are getting? Increase in tangential velocity. So initially your tangential velocity was what? Suppose this distance is r omega, and this was in the direction e theta. Now this changes to what? Omega r. Now r is at a greater distance. So Vr dt. This is your new r. Initial r plus extra distance traveled in time dt because of radial velocity
Okay, sir.
into e theta. E theta is the direction. So what is the change in magnitude? Of course, e theta is also changing. So that is giving you centripetal acceleration. But if you just look at the change in magnitude, you get omega VR.
VR d theta. Sorry, d.
So this is the change in magnitude. You divide by time, you get acceleration. So you will be getting acceleration in theta, e theta direction. Similarly, this will be, if you calculate it, it will be coming in e theta direction. Omega k, this is k cross ER. K cross ER is e theta. So you have to use those cross product rules for cylindrical coordinates. All right. So I'm just
Okay, sir.
explaining you how you are getting this term in a more physical way. This was one example. Another example, very famous example. This is a circle. Basically, you take a platform, and this platform is spinning with angular velocity omega 2. You have another fellow running on it. It is running with respect to the platform with omega 3 with respect to observer. He is going around with respect to the observer. So he is a particle 3 and this is omega 2. If you take this point as B, so you have got point B2, B3. So what is acceleration of B2 if omega 2 is constant? What is acceleration of B2? B2 is fixed on the platform. Yes, Lavish?
Sir, AB3 plus x relative.
No. B2 is fixed to the platform and platform is rotating. It will be just omega 2 cross omega 2 cross just a centripetal acceleration.
Okay.
Point B2 is going in a circle about O2. Now, what is acceleration of B3? Acceleration of B2 plus acceleration of B3 with respect to B2. So I had told you how you will calculate B3 with respect to B2. Normal term, tangential term, plus Coriolis term. You see, whenever you have some sliding motion in a rotating platform, then you get this Coriolis term. Can you tell what is this normal acceleration in this case? Yes. Anybody?
सर नॉर्मल एक्सेलरेशन तो सर 0 हो जाएगी बिकॉज ओमेगा तो कांस्टेंट है.
There is a, you see, this fellow is going around with omega 3 with respect to. He is seeing, observer is seeing that this fellow is going with angular velocity 3 with respect to the rotating platform. 3 with respect to 2. What is absolute angular velocity of particle 3? It will be angular velocity of point of platform plus whatever is seen from the rotating platform. If your observer is rotating with the platform, what will be the angular velocity of that person who is rotating? 3 with respect to 2. What is the absolute angular velocity of that person? Somebody is running on this platform called particle B. So his angular velocity will be angular velocity of the platform plus that relative angular velocity. Is it not?
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
If he was fixed to the platform, this would have been 0, omega 3 by 2. Now he is not fixed with the platform, he is also running on the rotating platform. Now what is acceleration of B3 with respect to B2? What is the relative motion of the runner with respect to the platform? Is it a straight line or it is a circle?
Sir, maybe straight line outwards.
Why straight line?
So away
It's
from.
going in a circular path on the platform. The rotating observer will also say he is going around in a circle. but with angular velocity omega 3 with respect to 2. Any problem? Look, this fellow is going, suppose platform angular velocity is 2 rpm, and this fellow is going further with 3 rpm with respect to the platform. So what is his total angular velocity? 5 rpm.
Yes, sir. 5 rpm.
From a stationary frame, it will be seen he is running with 5 rpm. Just as good as that. So observer rotating with the platform will say he is going around with 3 rpm. While an observer with a fixed platform, fixed frame will say he is going with 5 rpm. Any problem?
No, sir. Clear.
So it is like a circular motion for him. So there is a normal term, because he is making a relative path motion is also circular. Earlier when he was moving in a slot, relative motion was straight line. Now relative motion is a circle. So what will be its acceleration? All right. Nothing big about it. Is it okay, Lavish?
Clear, sir.
Tangential acceleration, we assume that these omegas are all constant. So tangential acceleration becomes 0. Because his tangential speed is not increasing. So tangential acceleration is 0. Any problem?
No, sir. Clear.
Then we have to see Coriolis acceleration. What was the Coriolis acceleration formula? What is the rotating platform observer on the platform with angular velocity omega 2? You see, rotating observer is going around with omega 2. You see that?
Yes, sir.
Cross. Now velocity of B3 with respect to B2. Here you have got B3 with respect to B2, so same thing you have to write. Now if you draw the velocity diagram, this is my point pole of the drawing. What will be the velocity of B2? It will be like this. Velocity of B3 with respect to B2. So this is the velocity of B3 with respect to B2. So this is your point B3. Do you agree? What is velocity of B3 with respect to B2? Omega 3 by 2 cross all right. So you said 2 omega 2 cross omega 3 by 2 cross O2B. Any problem?
Clear, sir.
Okay. So what is acceleration of B3 with respect to B2? Normal acceleration is there. Coriolis is there.
Yes, sir.
And then you have, let's write absolute acceleration of B3. One is acceleration of B2. Acceleration of B2 is what? Omega 2 cross omega 2 cross O2B plus these terms. Is it all right? The first term is acceleration of point B2, which is fixed to the platform. Other is of that person going around related to that. Absolute acceleration of B2 plus relative acceleration of B3 with respect to B2. While B2 is fixed to the platform and B3 is going in a circular motion with respect to the platform. Now one thing you will see. What is the direction of all these terms? Is it towards the center? All these terms. Look, all these values are going around in a circle. What is the centripetal acceleration? Omega cross R.
Yes, sir.
All of them are of the same kind. All these omegas are having vector k, they are in the direction k only.
Yes, sir.
So all these terms are radial, number one. So you will be directly able to add it up. If you just look at it, it will become omega 2 square O2b plus omega 3 by 2 square O2b plus 2 omega 2 omega 3 by 2 O2b. Can you see that this is something like this? Use expand it. Omega 2 square O2b, this term. Omega 3 by 2 square O2b, this term. 2 omega 2 omega 3 by 2 O2b. Can you see this?
Yes, sir.
Also, you will see what is the absolute motion of the runner. Runner is having angular velocity, absolute angular velocity. Omega 2 plus omega 3 by 2. So he is making a circular motion with this angular velocity. What will be centripetal acceleration? Once you have found the absolute motion, absolute trajectory, it will be just this angular velocity square into radial distance towards the center. So that is what it is. So I found the acceleration of the runner in two different ways. One by mapping out his absolute path, which is circular motion with this angular velocity. Another by taking a rotating frame and observing his motion. In the rotating frame, he was also making a circular path, but we had to add two motions. One is absolute acceleration of the particle fixed to the platform, another moving with respect to that. So you see how we calculated the Coriolis term. So all these things will come handy in future. You should have an understanding of kinematics. Because once you know kinematics, once you know acceleration is important for us. Because then we directly can get force as mass into acceleration. So if this is an absolute acceleration, and this is the mass of the particle, so you know this much force must be acting on the particle. Any questions? Anybody has a question?
No, sir, clear.
How many people are attending the class? Can you all say yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's all right.
Yes, sir.
It's all right. Anyway, I will be uploading the lecture. You can listen to it peacefully. Okay. So what I did till now is Okay, one more thing I do. You have a fixed frame. You have a body going around with angular velocity omega. And we take a frame fixed, embedded in the body. But we say this frame has angular velocity omega. Any problem?
No, sir.
So we have a angular velocity omega. And we have a angular velocity of the rotating frame, capital omega. Let's call it 1, 2, 3. This omega we are measuring with respect to this 1, 2, 3. So what will be this omega? Can we do this?
Yes, sir.
So angular velocity of the body we are measuring in this reference frame 1, 2, 3. So at this point of time, whatever is the orientation of the axis, so this is the angular velocity written for this frame. So what is my, if I want to find its acceleration, angular, its time derivative. So what will I do? Omega 1 dot E1 plus any problem? Product rule or differentiation?
No, sir. Clear.
So this we are finding. Now omega 1 dot, omega 2 dot, omega 3 dot. So this you can say is alpha 1 to 3. Alpha is measured from 1 to 3 system plus what is dE1 by dt? Omega cross E1
Yes, sir. Clear.
So what do you get? Is it all right? Omega is same everywhere. Cross omega 1 E1 plus omega 2 E2 plus omega 3 E3, which is nothing but your omega as measured from 1 to 3 system. As measured in terms of 1 to 3 coordinate system. It is not measured from 1 to 3, but you are using the unit vectors of 1 to 3. So this is absolute angular velocity. Measured in 1, 2, 3 system, which is in turn rotating. Any doubts?
Clear, sir.
Okay. You take center of mass of the body. You have a fixed system. You find angular momentum of the body from with respect to the center of mass. Let's call it point G. So we want to find angular momentum of this body with respect to point G. So you will need I, omega, so this I is with respect to point G. Okay. You take some other point, call it H. What is angular momentum with respect to H? So you'll have to do is it all right? How do you find this angular momentum? You have a body, you have a particle at a distance r from the with respect to the point G. What is the velocity of this particle? Omega cross r plus velocity of G. So you call this particle A. The velocity of A is velocity of G plus omega cross r. Now, if you want angular momentum of the particle, first is the linear momentum. For angular momentum with respect to point G, you do r cross what do you get? R cross MVG plus so what is this R cross MVG? If you sum it over all the particles, basically you are doing sigma mi ri cross Vg. What is this term sigma mi ri? Yes. This is like centroid. You are finding the position of the centroid.
Yes, sir.
So what is this value here? Since you are measuring from point G, from the centroid itself, so you'll get a zero answer. So this term
Yes.
becomes zero. So this is what we had calculated as I omega. This entire thing got reflected as I omega. So this term was becoming zero when you took your angular momentum about the centroid. Now when you will take the angular momentum about point H, what will happen? Let's take a very simple case. You take a spinning bar. So, what is the velocity of every point in the bar? It is going around with angular velocity omega. So, velocity of any particle here is omega r. R is the radial distance. So, what is the velocity of the centroid? Suppose the bar is of length L, omega L by 2. Now, if I say let's call it point G. So instead of L, we could give it not length L, we call it length B. Because L we are using for angular momentum. This becomes omega v by 2. Okay. What is angular momentum of this bar about the origin? What is angular momentum? You say IO omega. What is IO? ML is MV square by 3.
Square by 3.
What did send angular momentum about centroid? IG omega. What is IG omega? ML MV square by 12. So So what is the relationship between Lg and L naught? So we can say L naught is equal to Lg plus what is the velocity of the centroid? Omega by 2. Is it happening?
Yes, sir.
So for your Lg is mv square by 12 plus no, mass into velocity into the distance. Mass into velocity into the distance. Let us see. So you get m omega b square by 4 this is equal to 12 1 plus 3. So you are getting m omega b square by 3. So this is what you expected. You found angular momentum of point O as angular momentum of point G plus mvr, mass into velocity into the radial distance. Suppose we take another point called H. Whether we can take the last point. That is the last point. Other end of the bar. What will be LH? If I say my LH is IH omega, what is H on that side? ML square by 3 omega. Is it the right answer? So what we can do is LH is okay. Let's do it more fundamental. It is always good to go back to the fundamentals. This is a point H. You want to find angular momentum with respect to H. Okay. When you were doing with respect to G, what you were saying, particle velocity is what? Velocity of G plus relative velocity. This is what you did. Velocity of G plus relative velocity. Now we will find velocity with respect of any particle with respect to hello, I will copy. Good afternoon. I will copy. So what is velocity of any particle P as seen by the observer with respect to h? Velocity of P will be velocity of h plus omega cross r, and we are measuring the r from here. Any problem? We'll take a coordinate system like this: x. This is omega. So your omega vector is omega k. What is velocity of h? Omega cross distance is b I. This is the velocity of point h. So k cross I is j. Now what is velocity of point P? Velocity of h plus omega cross k. Omega is omega k cross. What is this vector r? Suppose this point is some coordinate x, comma 0, comma 0. And what is your h? B 0, 0. So what is this vector? R is x minus b I. Any problem? So this becomes velocity of P as dh plus this. K cross I is again j. So that is what would have you anyway expected. Velocity of P, because this distance is x. So this is what you have got. So what is L? Angular momentum with respect to point h. So it is r cross velocity of point h velocity of point P. So this is absolute velocity of point P. So we are getting absolute angular momentum with reference to point h. And what is your r? We already said that x minus bi. R is x minus bi cross velocity is omega xj. So what do you get? I cross j is k, x minus b, m omega x. K. So this was one particle. So you could have taken an element of mass dm. So in that case, what it would have become? Of length dx, density rho. So you could have written x minus b omega x rho dx integral. So what do you get? omega x square rho dxk minus omega x d rho dx. In case I make any mistake, you tell me. So this is nothing but rho omega x cube by 3k minus rho omega p x square by 2 k 0 to b. So what you are getting, rho omega b cube, you take it out, 1 by 3 minus 1 by 2. This is rho omega b cube by 6. This distance is x minus b. So there is a negative sign. Why is there a negative sign? Anybody? Okay. Now let us see the values. Earlier you were having ml square by 3. No. For IO, your answer was mv square by 3 omega. For IG, your answer was mv square by 12 omega. LG, angular momentum. And at the last point, it is rho. Basically, this is nothing but rho b is m minus m omega b square by 6. So there is a difference in answer. How can we reconcile these answers? Anybody? Is there any chance of a mistake? 1 by 3, 1 by 2. Assume it is all right. Can you see how you will justify it? Angular momentum as seen by the observer at an edge. Now let us see. How did we calculate LG? What we did was LO was equal to LG plus MVR. Let us see if we do the same trick here. LH plus M. What is the velocity of this last point? Omega B into R. R is again B. M omega B square. What is my LO? LO is equal to MB square by 3 omega. What is my LH? Minus 1 by 6. Plus 1. So I have to look into it. What has gone wrong? Okay. Any questions?
No, sir.
So let's call it a day. So we'll try to finish next week all this mechanics business.